Hi guys, morning, got me coffee, put my light on. Bing! Got to have the light on. So, good morning to you from Southwest UK. I've already done one live. We have Tino in the background. He's promised me he's going to be quiet. The wife's gone to work. Ah? Yeah, man. Got the coffee, so I'm happy. And hello, no, you did say you would not keep making noises. Not going to listen to me. Tino never listens to me. Right, I'm going to have to take the phone off you. No. Well, I'm going to give you one more chance now because you've had all morning to be noisy. So I thought I'm going to try, guys, and do a part 2 of the Piers Morgan Priscilla Presley interview, and we're going to review it. So I don't know how many of you have watched part 1, but go back. We basically went through it in bits. Let's have a look. See if it comes up. We just gave our take on everything that she said. Now, I just want to pre-warn you that this is what I find Priscilla's strategy is. I don't know if you guys are going to agree with me, but this is what I think Priscilla has been doing for the last 40-odd years in interviews. She knows there's a preset questions that are going to be asked of her. So Priscilla doesn't have to sit there and badmouth Elvis. She doesn't have to, oh, Elvis did this, oh, Elvis did that, poor me, poor me. She doesn't have to do it. And the reason she doesn't have to do it, morning, Nadia. Yeah. What coffee is it, Nadia? Tell me the truth. This has got milk, butter, and no sugar. So I think, now I'll quickly say, I'm not a Priscilla hate channel. I do not hate Priscilla. I have to keep saying that because this is not what I'm trying to do. We're trying to break up the lies. We're trying to break them down and like go into them and go, why are you saying this? Why are you saying that? No, we're not trying to create hate for Priscilla. So I have to say that. And I know I lose subscribers every time I say we're not a hate channel for Priscilla. I don't care. That's not what we are. We are defending Elvis, searching for the truth, and we're doing it together. So I will sometimes say things that are not negative about Priscilla, but generally, unfortunately for her, she's made so many mistakes that I do have to keep saying stuff that is not very kind. So I think this is Priscilla's strategy. So we've got hazelnut flavored with frothed milk and honey. Oh, I don't know. Nadia. A lot of sugar in that, mate. There is a lot of sugar in. Do you know what? A tiny bit of honey, a tiny bit of hazelnut flavor, which I bet you taste beautiful. Yeah. But it'll make you feel hungry. This is your problem. So what will happen is you'll have your lovely coffee with no sugar, but because of the sweetness in it, whether it be the hazelnut flavor, which I'm sure is lovely, and the honey, you'll be hungry and you'll crave sugar. Because what happens is your body, it wants to release endorphins to crave the sugar. Because remember, sugar's addictive in any form. Doesn't matter if it's in hazelnut flavor or in honey or fruit. Your body is craving the sugar because it's addicted to sugar. Sugar is more addictive than any drug you could ever imagine, Nadia. So until you get to the point where you are no sugar, even me, I've put a little bit of milk in this, not much, but that milk has some lactose in it, and lactose is another form of sugar. So even me, I'm a little bit naughty with the milk. I do only have a tiny amount, yeah? The reason I put the butter in, remember why I do the butter, is because it reduces how hungry I feel. Right, look, no, you're not doing that, little monkey. So my point is, Nadia, I'm not giving you a hard time, is that until you completely come off most, not 100%, but even more than that, you're going to crave it. You're going to crave sweet things. I know it's tough, guys. I know it's tough. Remember, we're trying to move away from sugar. Look at my hands. Away from sugar. Remember, you get the same energy from animal fat as you do from sugar. But sugar is bad for you. Animal fat isn't. So you need to go wee, boonk, to getting your energy from animal fats. And until you do that, you are going to feel hungry all the time. We're not here to do that. We're not here to talk about the diet. Guys, you guys know that I'm on carnivore diet, keto diet. And because of it, I reversed all my... hello. Because of it, I reversed all my health complications that I had, ulcerative colitis and pre-diabetes, and I was overweight. Those three things were cured by this diet that I'm on, carnivore diet, keto diet. It's in the links. There's a link to my YouTube thing that talks about the diet, but that's not why we're here. But is nobody using... let me just... I can't see that. Sorry, Nigel. Let me just click up. So I got this annoying heart in the way, and I can't read messages. But nobody is using for energy, even though I have some sugar per day. What is that? But what? Right, just rewrite that, Nadia. But is my body using? Right. Write it again. Write it again. So, is my body using? I don't understand that comment. It's a Switzerland comment, Nadia. Hi, Jane. Morning. We're going to do the Piers Morgan thing this morning. As I was saying about Priscilla, she's very clever. The questions are pre-written. She knows that the interviewers are going to ask the negative stuff about her age, about Elvis's drugs, about his weight, about his temper, about him being grooming, about him being controlling, about the many different affairs and girlfriends that he had. She knows it's all going to get brought up. So she doesn't have to say a word. She doesn't have to say one bad thing about Elvis, because they will ask the question, which then gives her the platform to be negative about Elvis and try and get sympathy and try and play the victim. So do we understand what I've just said to you? She's very clever. They play into her hands. They're just puppets to her, and she uses the interviewers. Doesn't matter who it is, Piers Morgan, Barbara Walters, doesn't matter who it is. They're all going to ask the same stuff, and that puts her in a position where she can play the victim and badmouth Elvis. But her cleverness is this. She won't just badmouth him by the replies she gives in the questions. A lot of her replies are just nodding her head and agreeing. She'll spend an hour praising Elvis. Oh, he was so amazing. I loved him. And he started in Mississippi Tupelo. And from nothing, he became rich. And he was so talented and so beautiful. And his 68 comeback special and the Army years and the Vegas comeback. And she'll spend all of the interview praising him. This is a big charade. Because really, what's really happening is this. The interviewer, who's trying to get more views, trying to get more attention, trying to make the interview more dramatic. Oh, that's good. Yes, yeah, the Army years and, the comeback. Oh, but weren't you only 14 when he met you? Oh, but wasn't he unfaithful to you? Oh, and didn't he make you take drugs? And why did he eat so much? Why was he so... Do you get what I'm saying? They're all playing into our hands like they're stupid. And Piers Morgan was the king of stupid, because he, in that interview, which only happened months after Lisa Marie had passed, she completely used him to make herself look good, and really Elvis looked very bad. And I actually think a lot of the questions that Piers Morgan asked in that interview were very cruel to Elvis and harmed his image, because he kept bringing up all the negative stuff. If you go back to part 1 that we did yesterday of the Piers Morgan interview, he asks all the negative stuff very quickly. She has to respond. So in that interview, I would say that she was quite tame, because now she's older, she's much more careful about how she replies to questions. So when he asked the question about him being grooming, controlling, it was like, he's done the damage by saying it. Because if you're a non-Elvis fan and you watch that interview, you're just going to go, oh my God, Elvis is a paedophile. Oh my God, Elvis was a druggie. Oh my God, poor Priscilla, Elvis was so unfaithful. No wonder she left him. That isn't the truth though, is it, guys? Because he wasn't controlling. He wasn't a groomer. He had very good reasons to be on heavy medication. He wasn't even fat. He had serious medical problems that completely bloated and inflamed his whole body. So you get where I'm going, guys. Right. If I have some sugar per day, just a tad in my body, it's still able to use the fat for the energy. Oh, that's a good question. Remember, I'm not a doctor, but I would say no. And I'll tell you why. Because what happens is, because don't forget, some sugar, it depends how much some sugar means. Your body is, at the moment, you are sugar adapted. Right, guys, I'm sorry I'm talking about the diet. I want to do this for Nadia because I want to help Nadia because we're mates. Now, your body is just completely used to living off any sugars that come in your body. So it could be bread, could be pasta, could be, don't forget any breads, any pasta. Could be rice, could be potato, could be from any carbs. Your body's just used to it. That's what it's always done. Oh, I'll just go to the storage. Now, this is why people are overweight, because if you have excess fat, sugar, don't forget, sugar is converted to fat in your body. Your body generally just lives off the sugar that you're putting in the mouth. Yeah. And that's what makes you put on weight, because you overeat the sugar gets converted to fat and it sits on you. That's what your body's designed to carry storage of energy. Now, remember, sugar is energy, fat is energy. Yeah, you get as much energy from animal fat as you do from sugar, but the energy in sugar is bad for you. It's bad for you. Sugar is just bad for you. It causes inflammation throughout. So your body's just used to living off the sugar. Then what happens is, when you start eating less sugar, your body goes, oh, there's less sugar. So your sugar runs out. That's in your digestive system, and then the body starts to move this way and starts going, oh, I can live off the fat. I can get my energies from the fat. This is why you can lose weight so quick on the carnivore diet, on the keto diet, because it starts eating away the stored fat. But my point is this: you have to also remember that when you're eating sugar, there's almost no goodness. There's no goodness in sugar. You won't get vitamins and minerals and all the nice stuff from the foods that have sugar. Like bread, there's nothing in bread really that's good for you. But my point is this. Is that now when you eat fatty meat, you can cover it in butter as well. That helps. When you eat fatty meat, it gives you the energy. The fat is not bad for you. Quiet. Cholesterol is not bad for you. Anyone that tells you that cholesterol that you eat is bad for you is wrong. Now, cholesterol can become damaged within your system if you abuse your body. I'm talking about cholesterol that you eat. Cholesterol is not bad for you that you eat. That's including eggs. It's all good for you. Cholesterol actually heals your body. Cholesterol is very good for your body. It actually prevents heart attack and stroke. So do not believe that cholesterol is bad for you. It's in every part of your body. It's in every cell in your body. Your body and your brain needs cholesterol. So when you start eating fatty meats, your body absorbs 100%. Your body absorbs the fatty meat, the protein. It absorbs it. It's very good for you. But when your body is given things like bread and pasta and rice and cereals, and it's all turned into sugar, there's almost no goodness in these things. Yeah. And fiber isn't good for you. We're told that fiber cleans out your body. It doesn't, guys. It inflames your body. It's like sandpaper in your stomach. It's not good for you. And this is where we've been lied to for 50 years. And guys, this is complicated stuff I'm talking about. You have to go on YouTube. You have to look up the doctors, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Shaffer, and you'll start to understand why the carnivore diet and keto diet is saving lives, stopping heart attacks, but also getting rid of medical conditions, restoring people's energy, and making people look younger and feel younger. It's because finally they're eating the correct foods. When you eat the correct foods, your body rejuvenates and your defaults, but your body goes back to default. Your immune system is boosted. And this is why me at 57, I think I look younger than I am because of the carnivore diet. When I started the carnivore diet, I had a massive belly. Yeah. And I had ulcerative colitis and I had pre-diabetes, and it's all gone. And I've proved it works. So I've had my blood test done. I've had an MRI on my brain. I've had all my CT scans on my heart. All my blood sugars are normal now, and they never used to be. So my blood pressure is normal, and all because of the carnivore keto diet. Anyway, sorry, I went on a tangent. I agree. Her body language is like a poor little girl. Yes, Nadia, that is true. Let me just answer your comment. Why does no one ask why Elvis was money trouble before his death? Why does no one ask? Yeah. Well, that's a good point, Nadia. I personally think that it was kept as a big secret. It was quite unknown about Elvis's financial problems. And I think that the second divorce settlement was kept a secret and no one knew about it. I don't think anyone knew about the charge that had been put on Graceland by Priscilla's attorney, the deed of trust that made her, that because he couldn't afford to pay her the second divorce settlement. I don't think ever anyone knew about it, that he had to put this deed of trust on Graceland's to guarantee her getting her money. I don't think anyone knew that he was selling off houses to give her half the profits, and he gave her a massive lump sum the second time. This is why it annoys me when she says, oh, we stayed friends. You can't be friends with all that going on. With Priscilla demanding more and more money, and her attorneys are really going for it. How can you be friends? You can't be. So when she says, oh, we were friends, we would talk. Yeah, they would talk about money, arguing about money. And the next time Elvis could have Lisa Marie, that's when they spoke. And I think 2 days before he died, they were still arguing about when he could see Lisa Marie. So it's just my opinion, guys. Right. Have I missed any? You have to, all I can say to you, Nadia, as a friend, you're going to have to get that sugar usage as low as possible. A little bit of strawberries, a little bit of blackberries, a very tiny bit of honey, maybe, a little, if you want something a bit different, a few nuts, some very low carb vegetables. Yeah. The green ones tend to be the low carb, but mainly fatty meat, eggs, chicken with skin on, pork with skin on, lamb with skin on, rye steaks with skin on. And yes, your body will then rely much less on the tiny bit of sugar you're eating, and your energy levels will be boosted. You'll start to lose weight. And then the other thing will happen is you won't be so hungry. You'll be satiated. You'll be much less hungry. But we need 90% meat, eggs, fatty meat, and 10% maximum sugar. And then you're going to get somewhere. Have you found that you've lost any weight yet, Nadia? Anyway, hi, Colleen. So it's a good question, though, Nadia, that you say, why wasn't it known that Elvis was in trouble financially? I agree. So Nadia said she gave up bread, pasta, grains, potatoes 2 weeks ago. I had some veg and lettuce and honey. That's good. That's very, very good, Nadia. But make sure the honey is a small amount. Honey is very fattening. There is some goodness in honey, a little bit. Not much, though. Louis, after a little while, you stop craving those things. Yeah, you do. Colleen, and how do you find the diet, Colleen? Because I find it very good. I have my butter coffees. I won't eat now. What's the time now? It's 9:48 a.m. I won't eat till 1:30. I'll have eggs and bacon with butter, and and then I won't eat again until about 6:30. And I tend to have steak or lamb ribs or pork bellies with some eggs and some salt. It's important you have your salt, guys, so you don't have any cramps. And that's it. That's it. I'll have a few more teas. I have 2 coffees a day, 3 teas a day. Never have sugar. That's it. I've stayed slim. I did find that when I started eating fruit, because I do have a bit of fruit. Last night I had strawberries. I think the night before I might have had some tangerines, 2 tangerines. So I do find that when you have a bit of fruit, you don't lose weight. And peanuts. If you have peanuts, you don't lose weight. To lose weight, you got to have no fruit, no peanuts. That's what I've learned. If you really want to lose weight, no veg, no fruit, no peanuts, and then the weight falls off really fast, and you're still very healthy and full of energy. Because you don't need any to get your energy. You just need fatty meat. That's all you need, and all your vitamins, and all your nutrients, and all your minerals and fatty acids. It's all there in the fatty meat. You must have the fat in the meat. It's very important. If there's not enough fat in your meat, put some butter on it. That'll help. Right, I'm being like Elvis diet person. Elvis diet person. That's who I am. But if you want to click on the link to my diet channel, guys, and you'll see everything you need to learn. I have no reason to lie. Okay, let's have a look. So Nadia, I shared that deposition and wrote on your Facebook group, Lou. Have you? When did you, Nadia, when did you do that? Because I do want to read out the deposition. Let's have a look. Nadia, it says the content is... Send it to me on Messenger. Look, it says the content is unavailable. The content is unavailable. If I click on it, it says, this happens usually because the owner only shared it with a small group of people and changed who can see it, or it's been deleted. So, but didn't... yesterday, it's Rhonda reading. I can't find it as a document. All right. Yeah, no, you can't. I will only show other people's YouTube stuff that I know I'm allowed to use. I'm showing you the Piers Morgan stuff. I'm allowed to use that. I'm showing you old interviews of Priscilla. I'm allowed to use it. There's no copyrights. But certain YouTube channels do not like their things being shared. So, but you're so obsessed with the divorce deposition. You don't need to be Nadia, because I know all I have to do is I'll do it with you now, right? Okay. All I have to do with the divorce is read the highlights. So if I write Elvis Presley's divorce settlement, so let's see what comes up. Right, look, I'll just read this. Look, Elvis Presley and Priscilla were divorced in 1973. She was given a one-off payment of £720,000, worth over $5 million. Well, that isn't true, because she had the divorce settlement of the first year, which I think was $100,000. Then the second divorce settlement, which I think could have been anywhere between 74, 75, 76. They were still arguing about it right up till 77. Elvis couldn't pay it, which is what caused this deed of trust to be placed on Graceland's. So it says here she was also given spousal support, which could be anything between $4,000 and $6,000 a month, dollars. And then 5% of Elvis's royalties. She got half of the sale of the Californian home when she was with Robert Kardashian, who was a top lawyer. My guess is that Robert Kardashian helped her. And actually, if we look at when she was with Robert Kardashian, that's probably when the second divorce settlement came. So if you click on here, it says PRESLEY info, 1972. So this is the, right, let me just, right, okay. So now this is the first divorce settlement. I know you already know this, Nadia, but now we're on this subject. We'll go through it a little bit. It's already on my messenger. Yeah, the video is, but I can't go through the video, Nadia. I'm not allowed to. And I wouldn't want to play Rhonda's video because that's her video that she made for her channel. I would feel unfair. So Nadia left December. P left in December 71. She was surprised when he confronted her about the affair with Mike Stone in 72. Yeah. And she said she wanted a divorce, she wanted freedom, and he offered her Monavale House. Yeah. I've read all that. I think at first Elvis was like, once it was decided that it was over, he knew she wanted a divorce. He was so angry about Mike Stone, so he demanded a divorce as well. I know at first she was like, I don't want your money, I just want my freedom. We know about that. But she very quickly came back. And if you, according to this, to try and cut a long story short, it's a 12-page document dated August the 15th, 1972. And they granted Priscilla ownership of a car, a Mercedes, a Cadillac, a Harley Davidson bike, $100,000 in cash, dollars. And then it was half the income of the sale of 3 houses. I thought that. And the reason that it was for the 3 houses, because they did actually buy the houses together, even though it was Elvis's money. And they didn't finalize that divorce until 1973. So I want to find the second divorce. Now, I've got, just so you know, Nadia, I've got all of the divorce papers here, all for the first divorce settlement. I could read all that to you, couldn't I? It's even got the paperwork. Look, I could read all that to you, but you would be bored out of your head. Bored. It's literally like complicated words that no one really. Well, no, you may understand them, but you'll just find it boring. I'll be sat here for over half an hour going, neither party shall incur indebtedness chargeable against the other or his or her estate, and after the effective date of the agreement, contract of debt. Come on, it's boring. Yeah. And if I dedicated a video to just like Rhonda does this, she will dedicate a half-hour, 45-minute video to reading these things. And I'm sure it's very interesting to many people because her videos get loads of views. But I just find it boring, guys. Do you really want me to sit here and read that? Honestly, please reply. Do you want me to sit here and read this? It will take half an hour. Yeah. So now I would be interested in, and I know all about that. The court, Priscilla called Elvis because she'd had an argument with Mike Stone, and she was like, I may come back to you, and he basically said that isn't an option. Don't take that for granted. And many of you have messaged me telling this. So I'll tell you what I would like to see, a better breakdown of the second divorce settlement. Now that is hard to find. Let's have a look. Let's see if it comes up. Here we go. Now this one is more to do with the second. Right. What Priscilla Presley's net worth is, we don't want to know that, right? What we want to know is the second divorce settlement. But I think I've already read it to you. I think I summarized it just now. Let's see if it comes up. Right, Priscilla received a substantial divorce settlement. Now let's see if by clicking on that, it lets me know. No. If it lets me. Right, the couple divorced. So this is more. Right, so yeah, and I have just read it to you. In the second divorce settlement, bearing in mind she'd already had the $100,000, the cars, the share of the profit proceeds from the 3 houses. I think there were some bank accounts. I think he'd also agreed to refurbishing a flat for her. I think he offered her a house that, as you say, Nadia, that she didn't want. So he ended up refurbishing a flat for her. So on the second settlement, like I just said just now, there was the $725,000, the 5% of the royalties of his recording rights, and then there was the child support, which I think was up to $6,000 a month. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. Now we know he couldn't afford to pay her. Vernon and Elvis were pulling their hair out because they didn't have no idea how they were going to pay her this money. So that her attorney came up with this idea of a deed of trust on Gracelands, and this would guarantee Elvis paying Priscilla in the long run over a certain amount of years, which Elvis had to agree to. I think Elvis was agreeing to everything because he wanted to keep. He didn't want any chance of not seeing Lisa Marie. So I think Elvis was saying yes to everything because he was protecting his relationship, father to daughter. And she had him over a barrel, didn't she? So the deed of trust was signed. So the lien on Graceland happened, and she was singing, wasn't she? She was, but unfortunately for her, or maybe fortunately for her, this all happened in 1977. This was still going on, and the Memphis Mafia book had been released, like I've said loads of times, and he was very unwell. He was very over-medicated. He had some serious health issues, extreme health issues, and then he died. So what we don't know is, because he died, she still would have had the deed of trust, so really part ownership of Gracelands. So I think this is just my opinion, guys. I think there's a possibility that when they were trying to make the decision what to do with Graceland, because she was part owner because of the deed of trust, the lien on Graceland, I think she probably had majority say on what was going to be decided for the future of Graceland. And I think this, and even her eventually becoming, being the lead trustee of Graceland at Elvis Presley Enterprises, and even Vernon, when he allowed her to become the trustee, I think a lot of it was to do with this deed of trust that she had, because she was waiving power. Hang on a minute. I do have a say on the future of Graceland and Elvis Presley Enterprises because I've got a deed of trust. I'm part owner of Graceland. I'm owed money. Yeah, I have a lien on Graceland. So I really believe that, just in my opinion, that the second divorce settlement put her in a very strong position with power over Graceland. I really believe that. As well as the fact that she was obviously Lisa Marie Presley's mother, of course. You know, can't ignore that. Yeah, I know about the Jaguar, which he was very proud when he gave her that. And she gifted him something as well, didn't she? And he furnished her flat, but in the end, wasn't the flat for her sister. So come on, you guys know that I am fuming about the second divorce settlement. She had over a barrel. Hi, Rosemary from South Africa. We've been talking about the divorce stuff. We've said it all before. A lot of the stuff I say, I'm repeating. Part of the reason I repeat it is because new people come on and new subscribers, and we're always updating them. Now, in case you're new, we're here to defend Elvis. We're a little family that's growing, and our thing is to stand up for Elvis and disagree with all the bad things that are being said about Elvis. And there's so many, and unfortunately, many of the things that we don't like that are being said about Elvis emanate from this book, and it emanates from interviews given over the last 40 years about Elvis. And I actually blame a lot of the interviewers for the harm to Elvis's image and legacy because of the type of questions that they keep asking over and over again. And it makes non-Elvis people, non-Elvis fans, think that Elvis is just some drugged up, overweight paedophile. That's the truth. and that he was constantly unfaithful to Priscilla, when we know the truth is different than that. So what we're going to do is going to start going through this Piers Morgan interview. I like to sort of wrap things up around 60 minutes long. I think after an hour, I think it can get boring. So let's go on to the Piers Morgan interview. Sorry that I spoke so much about the diet, but it is part of what I do and who I am. So I do like to help people with the diet, and James on here is using the diet as well, and a few others. Tracy uses it. I haven't seen Tracy on for a while, actually. Let's just right. Eat meat. So my wife's must be at work. I'll do you some egg and bacon. My wife's messaging me. She's actually just said to me she's craving meat, because my wife, because she's been poorly, she's definitely doing the carnivore keto diet, my wife, because I think it's going to help her. And so she started craving meat already, which is funny. She's just saying to me, I need some meat. I need some meat. Right. Hi, Matt. Haven't heard you on for a few days. Do you know what? I have a lot of strong views about Piers Morgan. I either love him or hate him. Yeah. Generally, I find him quite rude, but I just can't believe how soft he was with Priscilla. It doesn't make any sense, the way he was. He was just way too soft with her. And I actually don't like the questions that Piers Morgan asked. I think they made Elvis look bad. And then he puts her into a corner and she almost has to answer these questions. It was quite a tame interview for Priscilla. I think generally the things that Priscilla, how she answered the questions in Piers Morgan's interview were actually quite good for her. Some of the answers I would say were nice. She disagreed with him when he called Elvis a groomer, when he called Elvis controlling. She disagreed with him. So she has changed her tone. I do believe that. It was one of the worst interviews Piers Morgan has ever given, ever. Right, let's just start playing some of it. I don't know what it's going to say. We're just going to press play and then we'll comment as we go along. Hi, Jane. Are you okay? I'm just making sure I've said hello to everyone that's joined in. Hi, Rosemary. Please subscribe, guys. Please hit the notification bell. And if you want to be a member, guys, please join. Be a member. It's only 99 cents or whatever it is a month. It's nothing. Right. Let's have a look.
His death was something that shook the entire world. But for you and your daughter, it must have been a particularly seismic, shocking moment.
Devastating to get a call. Absolutely devastating.
Right, I have to butt in to that bit. She looks very sorry for herself. Very upset by the question. Now, I've just spoke about this just now. She says she's devastated, right? But remember, guys, in the year of his death, yeah, they were arguing very seriously about money and the second divorce settlement. The deed of trust had been placed on Graceland. The charge, the lien. The Memphis Mafia had released their book only weeks earlier. And she knew he was very unwell. How could she have not known how unwell he was? Someone commented a few days ago saying, oh, she didn't know. No, she knew. She could hear how he spoke, his slurry speech. She knew he was unwell. Now, and she also has insinuated that she had no idea that he was close to death. I don't believe it. In my opinion, she knew he was unwell. She knew he didn't have long left. And she was still pursuing the money. She was still pushing with her attorneys the massive divorce settlement that Elvis could not afford. She knew he couldn't afford it because she instructed her solicitor, her lawyer, her attorney, call it what you want, to request a deed of trust, which is the charge and lien on the property of Graceland. So she didn't, in my opinion, the fact that he was so unwell didn't mean enough to her to stop the demands for more money. She carried on with the deed of trust, which you can see that it's been signed. We do have the deed of trust. I found it online. It's very clear it was signed. And so what I'm saying to you is that she's here going, oh, we were devastated. But she's not saying, oh, and by the way, I knew he was really ill and I was trying to get all the money out of him that I could, as much money out of him as I possibly could, to the point where he had to sell off his recording rights and give away part of Graceland's, really. So Nadia, maybe that is why she went for more money, because he was so ill. I see what you mean, Nadia. You have a good point. So you're basically saying that she was worried he was going to die soon, which I think everyone that was close to him felt that way. Especially the people, also people all around the world who had watched the recent shows. Or had they been shown at this point? I'm not sure about that, actually. They may not have been aired at that point. So maybe not the people around the world. But anyway, it might have been in the tabloids, people that were attending the shows. But my point is this. I see that. She thought he's close to death. I need to get my foot in the door and get what I can. It's possible. So I dispute every word that Priscilla says now. And I'm not saying this is a hater. Of course, it was a shock to Priscilla and a shock to Lisa Marie. But what she doesn't say in this interview is, oh, by the way, in 1977, the stress I played. All right, turn it down. What she didn't say, here's a remote, but you do have to keep it down. Right. So what she doesn't say is that in 1977, my attorneys were attacking Elvis. She doesn't say that. Yeah. So, and when you know this, because the public didn't know about the second divorce settlement. So and I think most of the public, even now, do not know about the divorce settlement. So when you listen to this interview and know that the public didn't know about the divorce settlement, they didn't really know as much about the affairs as we do, that you see this reply from a different light.
Just talked to him the night before, actually. And
I'll stop again. I just talked to him the night before, then she corrects herself and says 2 nights before. But yes, but what were they talking about? Money, the divorce, Lisa Marie, Elvis wanting to see Lisa Marie. We've got to remember this. This wasn't a lovely romantic conversation. Oh, I love you, dear. I miss you. This wasn't that. This was money, money, money. Attorneys, Lisa Marie. In my opinion.
To get that call,
I turned it down.
Joe Esposito actually called me and said, Scylla, Elvis is dead. And he was already emotional. And I just yelled, I thought he was kidding. You just never imagined that. That we would joke around all the time. And then when I found out, it was true.
So even then, Tino, turn it down. I'm going to turn it off. Oh, he's so cheeky. He's a monkey. I'll drink my coffee. So she says, you're kidding. Yeah? No. She knew how unwell he was. This was no surprise.
And I just went to my bedroom and just stayed. And Joe said he'd send the plane for me, the private plane. And I just stayed in my room and couldn't believe it and cried. And I don't know.
It's interesting, even now, this is 50 years ago.
Right, guys, this next few seconds, it bothers me. Because I, in my opinion, find it very fake, right? So we're going to press play and we'll see what I'm saying. But yes, Colleen, yeah, he felt Elvis. He had to work. He had to pay the bills. He was carrying so many people. So many people were relying on him. But also, he loved his fans. He wanted to perform for his fans. He did. Right, let's just listen to these. I'm interrupting quite regularly because It's so crucial, each few words. Now remember, Piers Morgan, his questions are a bit of a loaded gun. And also, he's putting words in her mouth, like he's about to say, I think he's about to say, oh, it still affects you today, you still love him. Now, this is him telling her what to say. And then we see how she responds. And she will probably say, oh, yes, you know, I still love him now, right? But she doesn't say, oh, I still love him now. But by the way, I've got another man in bed and I ran off with Mike Stone. And then within a few years was with another man, then another man. She doesn't say any of that. Oh, and we were divorced and I was unfaithful to him in 1968 with a dance instructor. She doesn't say any of that. She acts like the widow that is still in love with him, that was still with him when he died. This is the mistake that's unfair. This is why we're defending Elvis, because she was not the widow. She was not with him. She had been unfaithful twice at least, and she was trying to grab all his money just before he died, and that includes Graceland. So let's keep listening.
Pretty much nearly.
Yeah.
But it still has a profound effect on
I can still hear Joe Esposito's words. So Elvis is dead. And that was like, I just couldn't imagine him ever, you know, especially, you know, his age and all, being still so young and wanting to do so much and had so much planned, and not having him, not talking to him, not having him be the father of our child. And what, you know, my big fear was Lisa, you know, and how do I tell her? And she was only 9 at the time.
I have a daughter of 11, and I can't imagine a harder conversation to have.
Right.
How did you tell her?
Well, I just told her we were going to Graceland and we were going to go see Daddy, but Daddy won't be, you know, Daddy will be resting.
Straight away, you guys are going to say something. Lisa Marie was at Graceland's. Yeah, it's even possible that she found Elvis dead as well. There's words that are said that she could have been there. So yeah, this is a much older woman, 79, who's forgetting the things that she has said in previous years.
And she just asked me, and she goes, well, resting. I've never actually told this before because it's been hard. But they said, well, he's going to go to sleep for a while. And she goes, will I be able to see him? And I said, yes, you'll be able to see him. You'll be able to see him. And then she sees him. And I don't think she really quite got it. But because she went out in the golf cart and started, she had a little friend, and driving in the golf cart and all around the backyard of Graceland. So it didn't really hit her.
So, hi, Nicolette. Thanks for joining in. Again, we know that she was there. So, and even Priscilla, when she mentions that Lisa Marie went off with her friend riding around on the go-kart, that it hadn't really hit her. I don't know. I think that undermines Lisa. I think in some twisted way, saying that isn't very nice. But let's keep watching.
Until later, I would say. I took her to Europe, actually, when I got back to LA, because the paparazzi was around my home and making phone calls and trying to reach me, and that's what I didn't want her to see. So I took her with my sister and her, and we went to Europe for 2 weeks. And I wouldn't let her, in some of the papers at the airport, they had people selling the shock of him dying. They were selling the papers, and I just took everything and went the other way and didn't want her to see them. And I kept her from school, and I asked the teachers, you know, please don't mention, I don't want kids coming up to her.
I mean, I can't even imagine, because it was such a huge story for the rest of the world, but for you, this is real life. This is your man that you love, still love today.
Still mention, I don't.
Right, remember what he's about to say. This is your man. Piers Morgan, what are you doing? Please. Now, I just want to say to you guys, I do not hate Priscilla. I'm not trying to create hate for Priscilla. I want to just get to the truth with the help of our the family that we've created on this channel. I just want to get to the truth. Now, we are talking about a woman that was unfaithful to him and was badgering him for more and more money, nearly drove him to bankruptcy. Yeah. And then he says, and we're talking about your man, the man you still love. Now, Piers Morgan, what are you doing? Did you not do your research? They had been divorced for years. She had had 2 very horrible divorce settlements with him. She was unfaithful to him. So when you say your man, the man that you still love, please do your research. Do your research. Understand the timeline and the things that went on. Now, I'm not trying to whitewash Elvis and say that Elvis was innocent. I'm not trying to do that. But let's at least, I say, expose the truth about Priscilla and how she had been treating him from 1968 to the day he died. I repeat myself. How Priscilla treated Elvis. I see Elvis as a victim. How Priscilla treated Elvis from 68. Don't forget, Elvis married her in 67, got engaged with her in 66, and treated her beautifully in that short period of time during the wedding, during the pregnancy, up until the birth of Lisa Marie. Elvis was, I think, was completely loyal and faithful for that very small period. Now, we know after the unfaithfulness with Priscilla, with the dance instructor, Elvis went on and did his own thing. Elvis classed himself as single because he felt that the marriage was broken. But so that's a whole new story. Yeah. And I also accept that in the 60s, in 62, 3, 4, 5, Elvis acted like a single man. I won't whitewash Elvis, but we have to accept that when what he's about to say is completely unfair to Elvis and not true.
I don't want kids
It's so
coming up to
difficult.
her.
I mean, I can't even imagine, because it was such a huge story for the rest of the world. But for you, this is real life. This is your man that you love, still love today.
Still love today, yep. He was, like I said, he was unique. He was, his personality was unreal. He was caring. He cared for people. He had, he wondered why him.
Right, now listen. This is what I tried to say yesterday in the Piers Morgan live, that we did yesterday when we were reviewing the first 20 odd minutes. She goes on to little storylines. She's almost changed the subject now. He has just said to her, oh, he was your man, you still love him, poor you, what you went through, you actually lived this, yeah? He's talking out of his ass. Because every bit of that is wrong. She had her own, she was with other man and different man. She had treated Elvis terribly. She was bombarding him with attorneys to grab more money and do the lien, the charge, the deed of trust on Gracelands. And then wham, bam, he dies. Yeah. So this wasn't a woman that was married to Elvis, that was heartbroken, that was still deeply in love with Elvis. This was a woman that had fully moved on, that had a fortune given to her by Elvis, that is now 40 years later still acting like she was his widow, and she never was his widow. And Piers Morgan, who is known as one of the best interviewers in the world, believes every word of it and is asking questions as if this was true, as if this is history and reality. And the truth is, in my opinion, the way that Priscilla treated Elvis from 68 to 77, she should be ashamed of herself. And I don't say that to be hateful or to incite hate. I say it because I look at the actions of that woman, and we'd love her to just say sorry and admit the wrongdoing. Wouldn't we just love that? Wouldn't it make some difference?
And there's stories about him. I don't know if you ever heard the story about there was a black woman.
Now remember
Looking
what she does, guys. She just tells stories. She's changed the subject. She goes into the stories. It's almost like autopilot in a car or an aeroplane, where press play, play, And then, oh, Elvis was so good. He was so amazing. He was in the army and he was so gifted. He was so talented. It's droning. It's droning, yeah? Because she does it over and over again in hundreds of interviews for over 40 years.
Car on Beale Street, a car dealership, and he was looking, he was just driving around and he saw her.
I don't even want to hear it. It's just her waffling.
I don't know. I don't think so, because
that you had with him. When you've watched Elvis the movie and now Priscilla, and it's made you revisit all of these times that you had with him, do you have any part of you that thinks if only I'd done this, or this, things could have turned out differently?
I don't know. I don't think so, because I really, I gave my all to him.
Oh my God. Oh, sorry guys. Maybe I'm just tired. I gave my all to him. What is that? What is that? She did give her all. She really made sure that when she went for the second divorce settlement, she had the best lawyers and really got as much money as she possibly could. That's how she gave her all. But the woman who had an affair with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, 2 months after Lisa Marie was born, that is not giving your all. The woman that ran off with Mike Stone and had a secret affair with Mike Stone in 1971, that is not giving your all. Do we agree on this, guys? Come on, please. Please, I'm not the only one, am I? Right, hi, Jane. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Rosemary. I just find it so frustrating. I'm trying to be nice. I'm a nice person, but I find it hard to give nice comments when it's the way she's talking is so wrong. It's so far from the truth.
I couldn't change his mind. I mean, he was strong-minded. When he thought something or he wanted to share things with people, he was very excited about, getting people gifts. Didn't like receiving them.
Now remember, she goes into story mode. Yeah, you have to pick up on this because I'm really noticing it. She's now talking about, oh, he gives gifts and he bought strangers cars and he was so generous. And she does the storytelling that she keeps repeating in these interviews. But then Piers Morgan will play into her hands and I think say things that discredits Elvis, that makes Elvis look bad, that gives non-Elvis fans a bad image of Elvis.
To give her. But I look back and, we still had a relationship. That's the best thing, really.
Do you see that? Like, guys. Oh, it's really getting to me now. She definitely did, Colleen. Morning, Colleen. So she definitely... He was just too nice, too good. But I do think that her having Lisa Marie, yeah, she was the queen on the chessboard, that she could get whatever she wanted to. Elvis was always going to say yes because of Lisa Marie. Let's just listen to this bit, which is just ridiculous.
He loved you and you loved him.
Right, remember, listen.
He was a giver. But I look back and, we still had a relationship. That's the best thing.
That was the bit I was going to comment on. Yes, they did have a relationship. It was completely based on the divorce settlement and him seeing Lisa Marie. It was all about getting money. There was no relationship. There was no friendship. Yeah. Elvis was a good guy. So sometimes he would just feel bad. Sometimes he would miss the family that he once had when it was Priscilla and Elvis and Lisa Marie. So he did have weak moments where maybe he even missed her. But they had no relationship. When they divorced, their friendship was all about money and Lisa Marie, in my opinion.
Well, I think he loved you and you loved him till the day he died. Right? That's clear.
Yes.
Did you hear that? He loved you and you loved him to the day he died. Now, maybe Elvis did still love Priscilla. If you listen to the Memphis Mafia interviews, they do say they felt that he never quite got over Priscilla. Again, the Memphis Mafia also say things that may not be true, so we don't know how true that is. But there's no way that she still loved him. Right, Tina, no. There's no way that she still loved him, because you don't treat someone like that in a divorce settlement so severely if you love them. If you're a nice person and you're having a divorce, you are as fair as you can be. It has to be win-win. And the way she was almost driving him to bankruptcy. There's no way that there was love. No way. Yes, my lovely boy. Yeah, go on. Don't eat them all, though, because you have to save some for Yasmin, yeah? Have 3. Right.
I love story.
He would call me all the time. He was funny.
Right, come on, guys. Right, don't use a sharp knife. He would... Right. Right, do you want me to... I'll do it for you if you want. So, do you hear what she just said? He would call me all the time. I bet he would. He wanted to see Lisa Marie. They were arguing over the divorce. This was heavily happening in 1977. Right, let me just sort my son out a sec. Well, I want to make sure that the knife you got is not sharp. And also, they're not all for you. So, right, that's good. Yeah, I'll give you 2 more. That's it. And then the rest I'll share for Mummy and Yasmin, yeah? All right, mate. Let me do you a bit here. Oh, there's a nice piece there. Oh, yeah. We'll put it here. Move that over there. So we'll do this bit for you. He likes his strawberries, Nadia. Put them there. Let me cut this one up for you. All right, you want to do this one, yeah? Right, I'm nearly finished now. I'm coming to the end of my video. Okay, here we are. See, look, Dad's being dad at home. Okay, so where are we? Especially, right, code, especially when there's a child, you should be as fair as possible. 2 right. He called for Lisa. She had already had enough in the first divorce settlement. So the second divorce settlement was just pure greed. But it's never mentioned. You could watch 100 interviews, and they never mention the greed of the divorce settlements. Never. They do quickly mention Mike Stone sometimes, very rarely, but the dance instructor has been mentioned before. But yeah, strawberries. See, low in sugar, lots of goodness in them for you, Nadia, but not too many.
Whoever he was with, he would usually go into his bathroom to make the phone calls.
So they couldn't hear.
Yeah.
So she has a little dig. Did you hear that? She has a little dig at the girlfriends. She says, it doesn't matter what girl he was with, he would go into the bathroom and make phone calls secretly behind their back. That's her going, Linda Thompson, Ginger Alden, yeah. But the truth is, he had to speak to her because of Lisa Marie. He had to.
Shared that at all, actually. But yes, he would either that or go out to the office and call. And that was kind of fun.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that? That was kind of fun. Guys, are we getting this? Am I the only one getting it? So she says, oh, yes, he had to go into his bathroom when he was with the other girlfriends to call me. That's her way of saying, nah, he liked me more. I'm the one he loved. And then she says, it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. And the only context of her saying that was kind of fun is her going, nah. Oh, it just makes me laugh. Literally, that was kind of fun. And Piers Morgan doesn't even pick up on it.
Conversation with it.
My last call, I'll go out to the office and call. And that was kind of fun.
Do you remember your last conversation with it?
My last conversation, yes, was when Lisa was coming home. That she needed to come home because school was starting. And Lisa was there during that time.
See, and I just said that to you just now. Their last conversation wasn't all, oh, I love you, baby. You know, I miss you, you know. It was always about money and Lisa Marie, yeah? She just admitted it there, that it was about her coming home. And I bet you that was Priscilla demanding that Lisa Marie come home. I will put money on it. I bet that last conversation they had was not a lovely, sweet, romantic conversation. Do any of you agree with me, guys? That remember, I'm not being hateful. I'm trying to get to the truth. Defend Elvis, search for the truth with you guys. Yeah, Jane, when I first watched it, which is when it first came out, I was like, are you serious? Are you serious? This is so ridiculous. Yeah. Hi, Philomena. You okay? We've got a few members on now. We've got Jane on, Colleen, Philomena. We like the members, guys. Please join up. It's 99 cents a month. Then we can hit the notification bell so we can all go live together, so you're notified when we go live. Please subscribe, because a lot of you don't subscribe.
Who is it?
It's very very poignant for me to talk to you, who's, in the end, you're a woman that had this extraordinary life and had this extraordinary relationship with this man. But here we are, he died in 1977, and here we are in 2023. And I can see the effect he still has on you, just on a personal, human level.
Yeah.
There's nothing tabloid or anything about this. This was a real, visceral love affair between you.
I miss him. I miss him very much.
Yeah.
I miss his words. I miss his love. I miss his laugh. I miss his energy. I miss the fun times. I think, you don't really realize the fun times that you're having until you go back and you look at
Oh my God. I'm sorry, God. I don't want to sound horrible, but it just drives me mad that just the way that he's just spoke to her, like almost like he's stupid. Like, Piers Morgan, you're not stupid, right? I'm gonna have to play that again just to show how ridiculous it is.
I miss the fun time. I miss him very much.
Nothing. And I can see.
Now remember, within that, he says there's nothing tabloid in this. The whole point of that interview, yes, it was a scoop for Piers Morgan, but the whole point of that interview is she knew that the fans were very upset with her. I think the whole point of that interview was to try and get the fans to see her as a poor victim, and to try and get the fans to like her more. Yeah? To try and change people's minds about her. That was the point of the interview, because we know about the Priscilla movie. Obviously, poor Lisa Marie dying. The fans were very angry and upset with Priscilla, and she was hoping that this interview was going to change fans' minds. So I'm going to play it again. It's Fun Times didn't really seem the way in her movie. Yeah, that's true, Nadia. Come on, the Priscilla film has just happened, is happening as we speak when this was done. Yeah, and we know that Lisa Marie did not want the film made. We know that that film really seriously harmed Elvis's legacy and damaged the good that was done by the Elvis Baz Luhrmann film. Yeah, because that Baz Luhrmann film really boosted Elvis's image around the world of all age groups. And then the Priscilla film comes along and trashes it all. And Priscilla wanted that film made. Priscilla promoted that film. Yeah. And the fans are extremely angry and upset that film was ever made because it harmed his image. So when when Piers Morgan says what he's about to say, it just drives me mad.
Effect. He still looks mad, but here we are. In the end, you're a woman that had this extraordinary life and had this extraordinary relationship with this man. But here we are. He died in 1977, and here we are in 2023. And I can see the effect he still has on you, just on a personal, human level.
Yeah.
There's nothing tabloid or anything about this. This was a real, visceral love affair between you.
I miss him. I miss him very much.
Yeah.
I miss his words. I miss his love. I miss his laugh. I miss his energy. I miss the fun times. I think, you don't really realize the fun times that you're having until you go back and you look at your albums and your pictures and you go, oh my God.
Now remember, she does this. She goes into story mode, almost changes the subject. But what he just said to her is completely brown nosing her and kissing her ass. That's what he's doing. He's like, poor you, you know, you loved him so much. You and him were so in love. Come on. Does anyone fall for it? I think if I was a non-Elvis fan and I didn't know all the facts, I would fall for it. I'd fall for all of that interview. I don't know the history of Elvis and Priscilla's relationship. I don't know about the divorce settlements and the unfaithfulness. I don't know anything about it. So I would believe every word of this interview, and I would treat this interview like it was fact, like it was actually history, that every word that comes out of her mouth is the truth. That's how I would see it as a non-Elvis fan. And this is why I don't like it, because they're rewriting history and people are falling for it. Millions of people, because that interview would have been aired around the whole world. Millions would have watched it. I bet it's one of the most watched interviews that Piers Morgan's ever had. And everyone believes every word of it. And no one has jumped in and defended Elvis. If you go through this whole interview, and we're 29 minutes into this interview, and a lot of that interview, I think, is slyly bad-mouthing Elvis, but it's done in a very sly way, yeah? You'd believe it. You'd believe that it was fact, and no one defended Elvis. Who jumped in and went, I'm going to stick up for Elvis? You're wrong. You're lying. You're bending the truth. Piers Morgan, you're acting as if everything you're saying is correct when you haven't even done proper research. Piers Morgan, you have not done proper research, because if you did proper research of this interview, before you did this interview, you wouldn't have asked half the questions you asked. You need to be asking the correct questions. Why were you unfaithful? Who were you unfaithful with? How many divorce settlements were there? How much money did you get? Was there a deed of trust placed on Graceland? These are the questions we need to ask, yeah? Not, oh, you loved him, you still miss him. None of all that rubbish. She was with a different man, Piers Morgan. She was in bed with a different man. Let's get real, come on. Poor Elvis was a victim in all this. Right. So I think I want to leave it at that. I'll tell you why, because we've got a good 25 minutes to go through, because I really do feel that we need to go through the second stage of that. And I think it's going to take over an hour. We've been on for an hour and a quarter. Hi, Solid Heroes. So let me take a picture of your comments. So you say, because if I don't take a picture of your comments, they do disappear. So I can look up Maria Columbus, co-president of the oldest Elvis fan club. I need to look that up. And then speaks of things missing from Elvis's estate. Thanks, Gio. I need to look that up. That's a completely separate subject, but I definitely need to. So, that's interesting about what Nadia says. So anyway, going back on topic. So I'm going to repeat myself. The whole point of this live stream that we're doing now is not to hate on Priscilla. It is to get to the truth, to defend Elvis, to stick up for Elvis. And I just think that whole interview is so unfair on Elvis. And I think if he was watching that interview, he would roll in his grave, because it paints the wrong picture of Elvis. It paints the picture that she is the victim, that she's the poor girl that has gone through hell, that Elvis just had it great, and then eventually he got into drugs and was unfaithful and died. That isn't the real Elvis. So, thanks, Gio. I'll definitely look it all up. There's so many subjects and topics to go through. I've got too many. So I like this Piers Morgan review that we're doing, because it is as close as we're going to get to finding the truth and defending Elvis, I think. Just that one interview. Now, I'm probably going to go back on a lot of different interviews, going over the decades, right back to the 80s. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to see what the interviewer is asking, see how twisted the questions are, see how she's replying. But I'm also going to try and work out if it all looks pre-staged, pre-written questions. And I still say that the interviewers are playing into Priscilla's hands. They're putty in her hands. She's toying with them. So she's waiting for them to ask the negative questions so then she can finally show herself as the poor victim. That's how I see it. And Priscilla Presley, if you ever watch any of our lives, which is very unlikely, I don't hate you, Priscilla. I'm not trying to create hate for you. But we are going to get to the truths because Elvis is worth defending. He's not here to defend himself. When he wrote this book, when you wrote this book, Elvis had no say in this book. And if anything, many fans believe that a lot of the things in this book may be true. So what I'm trying to say to Priscilla, we want a fair story, or not even story. We want the facts, the truthful facts of the history of Elvis from 1959 right to the day he died. To be fair, we want to see the wrongdoing that you both did, not just Elvis. We don't want a one-sided story that paints you out as the poor victim that more or less was his widow when you were not his widow. You were very unfaithful to Elvis. You broke his heart many times. And I know that he hurt you as well, Priscilla. I know he was no angel. And you may have gone through many tough times with Elvis. I see that. But to act like Elvis was the one that did all the wrong is so unfair. And the way you treated him on the second divorce was actually cruel. I would say cruel. Yeah. There's a lot. I personally think, Priscilla, you have a lot to apologize for. But I also think Elvis did wrong as well. So I'm going to be fair to you, Priscilla, that things happened with Elvis that were unfair to you as well. I want to be fair. But I feel that you have spent your whole life treating Elvis like you were the victim. And that's not fair. I feel that in the end, Elvis was the victim very badly. And I think it drove him to his death, drove him to his grave. I think so many people treated Elvis badly, including the Memphis Mafia. And we know his body let him down with his very, very serious health issues. That in the end, Elvis felt let down by everyone. And the end result was he died. So we the fans, we the Elvis fans, on all of the Elvis channels, can only defend Elvis through the comments of all these different channels on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these kind of platforms, Twitter, you can call it what you want. That is our only way, because the press are not listening to us. If you speak to the tabloids, the magazines, the interviewers, the big companies like Netflix, and Prime, and all the different media things, none of them want to hear the truth. They just want this to be repeated over and over again. And they want the interviewers to keep asking the same questions over and over again. And it's not fair on Elvis, because who is defending Elvis? And I would say nobody, just the Elvis fans. There is no one defending Elvis and trying to tell the public the truth so we can fix his image. Because Elvis's broken image, he doesn't deserve it. He does not deserve it. He was such an amazing man. And I personally think that he treated you very, very well. Once he got married, engaged and married, Elvis was going to be good to you and be a good husband. But as soon as you ran off with Mike Stone, had an affair, and then did it again in 1971 secretly and had another affair, it was game over. Elvis was single and he was messed up. It's clearly obvious Elvis was messed up after 68. And this is why he kept jumping from relationship to different girls, trying to find the right person, because his head was gone, because the beautiful image of a lovely marriage and a family had been smashed by the unfaithfulness that you did, Priscilla, in 1968 with Steve Peck. After that, it was game over. Now, leading up to the engagement in 1966, December, yes, he was a very young man. He was doing the movies, and he felt like he was still single. He didn't feel like he had fully committed to Priscilla in 62, 63, right up until 66. So in Elvis's mind, he was a single man. And don't forget, you did get with a man that was the most famous man in the world you were asking the impossible to expect him to be faithful. So we'll end it at that. So thanks, guys. I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for this live. Really enjoyed it. And we are going to come back and finish off this Piers Morgan interview, part 3. There may even be a part 4. We're going to walk the dogs and just chill out for a bit. If the weather gets nicer, we're probably going to go to the beach or something. So thanks, guys. All of you, thanks for joining in. Guys, please become members. It's only £1 a year. I'm £1 a month, $1 a month. Means everything to me. It gives me a pat on the back, shows me you like what I'm doing. I don't need your money. It's just I just like building up this membership. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. It's very important you to subscribe, guys, because it helps the channel. So thanks, everyone. All the best. I'll probably do a couple more live streams later. Thanks, guys. All the best.